Good afternoon and welcome to Star 5 News. I am Jan Jones. Today's headline brings us off the coast of Greece to an island known as Ithaca. We're following the story of a man named Odysseus who has been on a 10-year-long journey to return home to Ithaca. The last time we checked in with Odysseus, he had surprisingly just returned home, but it wasn't quite a welcome homecoming for him yet. He still needs to fight off the suitors who wish to marry his wife, and he needs to make sure his son Telemachus arrives home safely. Before we continue on with Odysseus, let's look at a few vocabulary words that we may see in today's headline. The phrase "at bay" means to keep a safe distance. The word "brood" means to think of unpleasant thoughts. And the word "sown" means to plant seeds or set something in motion. Now let us continue on with today's headline. Chapter 7. Chapter 7, The Swineherd. Odysseus leaned on his walking stick and trod slowly over the stony path that led away from the sea. He hobbled through the woods and over the hills to his estate. Finally, Odysseus came upon the swineherd who had long tended his hundreds of hogs. The old man sat in front of a crude stone shelter near the swine pens. He was making a pair of leather sandals. Near him lay 4 savage dogs that guarded the hogs. When the dogs caught sight of Odysseus, they lunged forward, snarling and growling. Odysseus threw down his stick and crouched on the ground. The swineherd rushed forward, shouting and throwing stones at the vicious dogs, driving them away. "You are lucky, old man," the swineherd said to Odysseus. "In another minute they might have killed you. Stand and come into my hut. I will give you food and wine. Then you can tell me your story, from where you have come and what sorrows you have known." Keeping the dogs at bay, the swineherd led Odysseus inside his simple hut. He made a seat of soft twigs, covered it with a shaggy goat skin, and invited Odysseus to sit down. "You are kind, sir," said Odysseus. "May mighty Zeus bless you for your hospitality. May he grant your greatest wish." "I have only one wish, that my dear master was still alive," said the swineherd. "Had he lived, he would have surely given me a reward for caring tenderly for his livestock these many years. He might have given me a house, a wife, and a piece of land. But alas, my good master has been gone for 20 years. He died far away from home, returning from the war with Troy. Storm spirits destroyed his ships and all his men." "And what of his family?" Odysseus asked softly. "Ah, his wife waits for him in vain, while other men try to force her to marry. His mother gave up hope of his return long ago and died of grief. His father wishes to die now also. The old man no longer lives in the palace, but sleeps alone in the vineyards. As for the son of Odysseus, the poor boy wanders the earth looking for his father. It is tragic indeed." The faithful swineherd sighed deeply, then stood up. "Let me feed you now, good sir," he said. The swineherd set about preparing a meal for Odysseus. He served him meat still hot on the spit and sprinkled with barley meal. He gave him wine in a cup made from ivy wood. As they ate and drank together, the swineherd complained to Odysseus about Penelope's suitors. "They butcher the best hogs on the farm," he said. "They slaughter the cattle and rob the storehouses and drink my master's wine. Worst of all, they torment my poor mistress day and night, demanding that she forget Odysseus and marry one of them. Ah, but she is faithful beyond compare. She weeps for her lost husband and will not give up hope for his return." "Do her suitors not heed her wishes?" asked Odysseus. "Nay, these men will not leave her alone. They are cruel and without pity. I hear rumors that they now lie in wait, plotting to murder her son." Odysseus said nothing, but in his mind he coldly brooded upon revenge, and the seeds of the suitors' deeds were sown. As Odysseus and the swineherd finished their meal, a storm began to blow outside. Wind and rain pelted the roof of the small hut. The swineherd gave Odysseus more wine and asked him to tell about himself. Odysseus lied. He said that he was born in Crete and had wandered many towns until he came to Ithaca. But I must tell you this, he said. On my travels, I met a king who told me that Odysseus of Ithaca is still alive. The king said Odysseus will return home on a dark night when the new moon is hidden. He said he might return openly or he might return in secret. The swineherd shook his head sadly. Do not try to raise my hopes, friend, he said. In the past, other wanderers have passed through Ithaca with rumors about Odysseus. Each time they have tormented his poor wife with their falsehoods. Again and again she has imagined that she might see her husband. Long ago, I myself believed a man who told me that my master would return in the summer or in autumn. But Odysseus has never come back and never will. I am certain that the fish have devoured him by now, and his bones lie deep in the sand of some faraway place. As rainy darkness descended upon the stone hut, the swineherd made Odysseus a bed of sheepskins. He spread a thick cloak over him. Then the faithful servant wrapped himself in the hide of a goat and left the hut. He went out into the dark, windy night and lay under the shelter of a rock, guarding his master's swine. And that concludes today's headline. Go ahead and narrate that story back to somebody in your family and then read chapter 8 on your own. Thank you for watching Star 5 News. I am Jan Jones.